Hello all, Munch here. Welcome to another episode of the FM19 Southampton Save. Actually, today is the Premier League finale of Season 5. It's hopefully a bit of a run-of-the-mill episode, to be honest. We only need to win one of our games today, either against Burnley at home or Stoke away, and that will secure us a top 4 finish in the league. As you can tell, we've had 3 fixtures since the last time we met. We did actually end up scoring against Barcelona at the Nou Camp, but lost 3-1, so an 8-1 defeat on aggregate. But then we managed to kind of turn it back on again, got back to winning ways with a 3-2 win away at Norwich, which was very well hard fought. They're playing very, very well for a newly promoted team this year. And then we beat West Brom 3-1 at St Mary's as well, and that's left us in a very, very decent position. Level on points with Spurs on 75 points each. The closest ones to us are Man City and Chelsea, both of whom are 5 points behind. So essentially, we're going to make the top 4. Let's not lie. We're going to, especially as Tottenham and City play each other today. If we pick up anything against Burnley, we've basically done it. So let's crack on and just get on with it. So in terms of the lineup, it's looking a bit like this today. Patricio's in goal, Johnny at left back today because Kieran Tierney is quite tired. I'm still angry with him after last episode. Pennant and Ginter in the middle together. Rosas is on the right. Then you've got Ilkay Gundogan with Gini Wijnaldum in the middle. Goebbels, Barkley and Robert in the midfield. Barkley coming back from a pretty bad injury, so he's not going to last the full 90 of that, I'm already aware. And Bril, Donald and Bolo is up front. Looking to get on the golden boot again this year. Apologies if you get a lot of glare. There's a lot of sun today. The weather's just been mental. Every time I thought I set it up, there's too much. Hang on. Burnley struggling a little bit in the league, but they got one of our old players here, and Ronnie Lopez on the right hand side, so I'm sure he'll probably cause us some issues. I'm going to say I expect to win nothing but a win from this match. We should be beating Burnley, let's be fair. We have any aspirations of maybe winning the Champions League next year. I've decided we are going to do one more season. I want to have one proper crack at the Champions League. I want to have one really good window. And then see how we get on. But that's not going to change the fact that, as I said in the end of the last episode, the new series will also be starting pretty much as soon as this season of this series is finished, if that makes any sense. And I'm very much looking forward to that, so we're going to do a bit of recording on that later. Buzzing. Gini Wijnaldum hits a shot. Ross Barkley hits the post. Could have been a very decent start after only a few minutes. Nearly half an hour gone, and we haven't had anything since that Ross Barkley hitting the post. It's been pretty poor, actually. We're not really firing all cylinders, and I'm wondering if maybe it's a little bit of this end of season syndrome. I'm hoping we can win this game so I can rest everyone up in the game against Stoke, so that we're ready for the cup final and have no injuries. But I'm not 100% sure. Well, we're always going to have injuries as Johnny cuts inside, but gets tackled there. Goebbels picks the ball back up. Robert, don't matter if this is with his foot or with his head, Robert always scores when on camera. A lovely goal and good play by Goebbels. It's worth noting, actually, that we have missed Goebbels for around about 3 months of this season, and I wonder if maybe if we'd had him and we weren't relying on Oxlade-Chamberlain and Robert, good as Robert's been, how close we would have actually been to maybe win the season. That is some atrocious goalkeeping from Werner in goal. Dear me. It's been a very solid half, nothing spectacular, just comfortably 1-0 up. Yeah, I'm just because I'm happy with the performance. We've dominated it, really. We've been very controlled in the game. We haven't really let Burnley have any kind of sight on goal apart from that Ronnie Lopez effort, which went miles over the bar. So I'm just a bit annoyed by the finishing. Look, we've got 20 shots, 7 of them on target, only 1 goal. It's a little bit concerning, really, especially as Werner doesn't look like he's particularly brilliant in goals. So we're not really working him enough, I don't think, obviously. I mean, I'm happy in the fact that we're winning the game, but I'm a bit disappointed in the actual performance itself. Hasn't been brilliant. Maybe we'll make something here. Beltran on the ball. He's letting the ball come to him. That's what I mean. He's not moving to the ball. We're not very assertive today. Beltran. That's a nice ball to Rosas, though. He seems to be making that right back position his own at the moment. He's played really well there, and Johnny hasn't had his best season, I think it's fair to say, but he's such a good utility player to have in the background. But I think he probably wants out of the team, so Robert on the right hand side with that ball in, son. He has. Diakabi heads it away. Ronnie Lopez heads it away. Johnny on the ball. Johnny squares it to Beltran. Beltran moves forward. Plays out to Rosas. It's a nice patient play from us. Beltran to Rosas. Back to Gini. Gini into Ross Barkley. We know he loves the long shot. Is he going to crack one off? He is, and it's miles over. That's the lack of match sharpness coming in there from Ross. 5 minutes ago, this has been one of the dullest 1-0 wins you're ever likely to see. This is Mourinho at his peak. Rosas throws it in. I can't let Burnley get an equaliser. Come on, boys, just finish the job off. Beltran to Ross Barkley. Barkley back to Beltran. They're going to score, aren't they? Fabian to De Boer. There's space. Robbie Brady. I can feel it. Can you feel it? I can feel it. 1-1. Oh, just the most undeserved load of shit you've ever seen. Brilliant ball from De Boer. He's the one that plays the ball out and lofts it out to Bray, and we just don't follow. There's no one follows. He's in at the front post. It's a great finish. What a load of shit. Honestly. And we haven't secured a Champions League spot at home to Burnley. Oh, it makes me sick. Johnny smacks it over the bar. Sums up our day. Loads of shots. 30 shots. 1 goal. The strikers and the midfield have a lot to answer for. The players have a lot to answer for after this. This is like the Brighton game all over again. If we're going to win the league again, we're going to have to cut this kind of crap out next year. There can be no more results like this. It's got to be just, be able to shut up shop. It's the defence at the end of the day as well. Like, as profligate as we've been today, it's the defence overall that's really let us down this year. We've just not really been at the races at the back. Last year we managed to keep so many clean sheets. This year it's just not happened. We've just not been good enough. And the referee blows for full time. That's a very disappointing result, and I'm going to tell the boys and get aggressive and say, you're not good enough. It's a game we should be winning. We should be. Time for some training. Chance conversion all week. So the City-Tottenham game is going on as we speak. If City don't win, then I think we've mathematically done it. There you go. That should be it. Confirmed, I think. Yeah, we have qualified for the Champions League for next year, which is great news. A budget of £101 million. Yes. That makes me happy. I'm in a much better mood now. Bring on the Stoke game. £101 million to spend. That's the kind of money that I'm looking at. I told you we need to secure Champions League football, and the budget will keep going up. Yes. The sun's gone now, so there's light again. It's great. It is the final day of the Premier League season. Hard to make sure, really. There's nothing actually really for anyone to play for anymore, in all fairness. Like, everything has pretty much been decided. There's only the relegation between Huddersfield and Brighton, but even that looks pretty much done and dusted, to be fair. So, are they playing each other? No, Huddersfield play Tottenham and Brighton play Newcastle, so Brighton may just survive this yet. Liverpool and Chelsea have played their games of 1, so there really is nothing much to play for here. We've just got to try and make sure we get through this with as little injuries as possible before the FA Cup next week. So I'm going to rest up the big boys. So the lineup for today then is Patricio in goal. Then you've got Kieran Tierney in what is probably going to be his final performance for Southampton. He's been a very good servant to the club, but I said that I'd sell him if we didn't win the Champions League. We haven't won it, so I'm assuming that he's going to go this year. He's going to be partnered by Chris Bennett, Fry and Rosas as the back four. Then you've got Højbjerg and Beltran in the middle. Googles, Barkley, Oxlade-Chamberlain in behind Brudon and Bello, who I need to get firing before the Cup final. I'm going to be a little bit gutted when Kieran Tierney goes, because he was one of the first signings, if not the first signing I think that I made, so it's going to be a little bit emotional to say goodbye to him. He's also obviously the club captain, but at the same time he's not really been playing at the kind of standard that I would expect of him this year. There's a lot of players and positions I think we need to sort out in the team for next year. Just general depth. Defence is still a problem. I think the midfield as well is a little bit of a problem. In some of the big games I think we are lacking maybe a true ball-winning midfielder. I thought that we'd sort of semi-solve the problem by buying Beltran and maybe by buying Roch, but obviously he's not really made it his own as they hit the post. So it's hard to say really just how well we've done in terms of it. Bichi Conti I think has been a brilliant signing. He will definitely be the fulcrum of which I'm going to build my defence around next year. But there's a lot of players that I think probably won't stay. Johnny will probably go. Kieran Tierney, like I said, is probably going to end up going. I'm not sure if I can really hold on to Patty Cutrone. He's too good to be a backup striker. I am going to give it one more season. I've made the executive decision that we are going to have one more season. We're going to have one more tilt at the Champions League. If we can't win it next year, that is it. It will be the end of the save. But I don't want to go on and have the last season of us not winning anything. I mean, all good save by Patricia there. I mean, we could win the FA Cup, but after winning the title, it kind of feels a bit like I want to get it back again. I want to end being the champions. If I can say that I've won 2 Premier Leagues and an FA Cup in my 6 years at Southampton, I'll be very, very happy. The Ox finds Ross Barkley to Beltran. There was a ball into Googles there like 3 times and they just didn't play it. Rosas skins his defender, whips it in. Barkley, bang! 6th goal of the season for Ross. If I could keep him fit, an attacking midfielder wouldn't be a problem, but he's just so injury prone that it's so problematic because he's so good, but he's injured all the time. Lovely player from Rosas, and that touch just to get out of his feet, beats his man for pace, gets a little bit lucky with the deflection, and it's a good hit from Ross Barkley. We really cannot keep it out. 1-0. I'd like to finish second if we could, please, boys. So Google's now on the ball. Looking forward to seeing more of him next year now, actually. He was our big marquee signing, and because he got injured for so long, it really made it quite difficult. Good ball from him there. And it's a penalty. It looks like it's a pen. It is. Bril Donalbaolo is going to take it. He's a little bit behind Harry Kane in the golden boot now, unless he can get a hat-trick today. Well, he's got one, that's for sure. But if Bril Donalbaolo can get a hat-trick, there is still a chance he might nick the golden boot. It is unlikely, though. Walker here down the right to Borja Iglesias. We just cannot stop conceding. Borja Iglesias turns it in from a Kyle Walker assist. It's this that winds me up. It's the inability to shut out games. It's just the inability here just to stop it. The front post run, they just don't get tight. Leadership is what's required next year. Experience and maybe a bit of leadership as well. I've realised that because I keep signing young, up-and-coming players, we just, sometimes when the pressure's on, we really crumble, and that's what showed in the Champions League semi-final, in the Europa League final against Liverpool. In some respects, in this kind of run-in that we've had this year with the title. And Ross Barkley gets a second. That's a lovely goal from... and him and Rosas seem to get on quite well. I enjoy these kind of games where I'm not commentating properly. I'm more like they're more like memoirs. I'm literally just sort of here talking to myself, trying to convince myself that I'm doing a good job with this team. That's a lovely ball out there from Ross. Great take from Rosas. His delivery is just superb, and Ross just toe pokes in another volley. 3-1 for half time. This is a much more exciting game. 3-1 at half time. Stoke have probably been the better team, but we're the ones that are ahead. I'm going to say I'm very pleased with the way it's going. Keep it up. It's just the defence that I'm worried about. Just this inability and the mentality of the team. And it's hard to retain a title. I understand that. And to be fair, to consider the fact that we finished like second or third, and we are off for, oh my god, probably about, what is it, 40, 45 yards out he is, and then he just runs forward 20, slaps it in the bottom corner. Horrendous. Well, they're going to get away with it here. Redmond now. He's a very dangerous player, is Nathan Redmond. He's into Borja Iglesias. Good tackle by Kieran Tierney. Just don't bother picking up the ball locks. It's fine, mate. Josh Timon. Don't let him cross. Redmond. Good block. Timon back to Redmond. Whips it. This just sucker. Oh my god. This game doesn't even mean anything. I'm getting agitated. For sake. Borja Iglesias has got his second of the game, and it's just nonsense. There's just no depth, there's no composure, there's no brain cells. Here you go. They whip the ball in. Borja Iglesias gets a hat-trick. We're going to lose 4-3 at Stoke on the final day after being 3-1 up. It's just awful. It's just awful. Patricio's awful. The defence is awful. All of it is awful. It's just heartbreaking because there's some quality players in there, but they're surrounded by so much gash, and they just don't have the mentality. None of them have the mentality enough to do stuff like this. This year has been a complete and utter farce. Final whistle, a 4-3 defeat on the final day. I gotta get aggressive and just say, training tomorrow. Don't give a shit that it's the end of the season. You are a disgrace. All of you are a disgrace. So to summarise then, United won the title. Champions League goes to us, Tottenham and Chelsea. City, Liverpool and Everton are qualified for Europa League. Arsenal completely out of it, down lowly 8th position. Everton managed to beat them there on goal difference. Oh dear, look at the run of form of Everton out at the end as well, Christ. Getting relegated with Brighton, West Ham and Bournemouth. West Ham going down to a bit of a surprise. Norwich managing to survive along with Huddersfield. So a pretty difficult season, actually, I think, for us in general, in the Premier League sense. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it's good that we still finished third with Southampton, and let's face it, the squad we had last year, it overachieved, but there are a lot of players that are not going to be here come next season. But before next season, we do have one more game, and that game is an FA Cup final against Tottenham. We're going into it in terrible form, but you never know. It's a cup final. It's a one-on-one. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the episode, please do like, share and subscribe. Make sure you come back for that FA Cup final. It's going to be one hell of a good game. Until I see you there, stay cool.